Hello, welcome back to another episode in my channel. Today we're going to cook something really exciting. We're going to be cooking an authentic vindaloo. Now, this isn't just any old recipe. This is from David D'Souza from Traditional GOAN Foodies. You can check the group out on Facebook, Traditional GOAN Foodies. And this is a recipe from Goa. So let's start with the spices. So totally authentic. We have 15 cloves, 6 cardamoms, a 3-inch piece of cinnamon, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin seed, 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric powder, 3 teaspoons of black mustard seed, salt to taste. We have a good 3-inch stick of ginger, fresh ginger. We have some all-purpose seasoning there, which is going to add a little bit of flavour to the stock. We have 25 cloves of garlic, yes, 25, so really subtle flavour. It's really nothing like the British Indian restaurant style where it's really mass produced, and this is quite time consuming to make but well worth it. So 25 cloves of garlic, 30 red Taka chilies. I'm using 2 different types. I've got one that's slightly hot, and I've got the quite Kashmiri chili powder, so it's going to be a nice mix of chili. 1.5 cups of white spirit vinegar. You know, the authentic recipe should call for toddy vinegar. Toddy, as you might be aware of, comes from coconuts. Okay, so white spirit vinegar, wasn't able to get any toddy vinegar. And we have 2 medium onions finely sliced, and we have about another 3-inch piece of ginger that's been finely chopped. We're going to be using this piece of ginger for garnish, and we're going to be using this for the sauce. Now what we're going to do, there's 2 separate types of ingredient here. We're going to be grinding all these spices, all the ginger. So let me just take the onions, the ginger and garlic away. So the remaining ingredients we're going to be blending with the spirit vinegar. We're going to blend them all together, and we're going to make a paste. Now the original recipe, as you're well aware, Portuguese GOAN, quite an old recipe, it calls for pork. Okay, so I don't eat pork, but you can use whatever meat you want for this. I think the sauce is the main signature of this. It'll really bring those flavours. I think you could put any meat in. It's going to taste amazing. I'm actually going to use some corn pieces that have been cut up into bite-sized pieces. You could use chicken, you could use beef, whatever you want to use, it'll be fine. Now, the proportions of the ingredients that I've mentioned are suitable for 1.5 kilos of meat. So, you know, I'm using about 400 grams of corn, so I'm not going to use all this sauce, but it's a great recipe, even if you just want to cook the vindaloo sauce. Okay, so let's get cooking. So what we're going to do, into a blending bowl, we're going to add all the ingredients, the salt, the all-purpose seasoning, the mustard seed, the turmeric, the cumin, the cinnamon, the green cardamom and the cloves. And one thing I did make a small error with, I left the garnish ginger there, so I've taken that ginger out. We don't want the ginger. So most importantly, let's put those chilies into that. 30 chilies. It's not going to be a hot dish. These are Taka chilies or Kashmiri chilies, so they don't have a lot of heat. I've added a few spicy chilies as well. Okay, so we have our mixture. We're going to blend that up, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So, quite sunny today. Can you see that? We have our amazing spice blend. Just had a taste of it. Really exciting. I know I'm going to be drawing a lot of inspiration from just making the sauce so far. Can you see that? It's amazing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour that onto my corn, or you'd be pouring it onto whatever meat you're using. And we're going to give that a good stir. And we're going to let that marinade in the fridge for 24 hours. And already looks pretty exciting, doesn't it? So let's let that marinade in the fridge 24 hours. We're going to come back and we're going to saute the onions, ginger and garlic. So let me come back to that. Day 2. Let's get some sunshine on that. There's my marinated pieces. Looking good. So we've heated up a pan. Because this is a GOAN recipe, I'm going to be using coconut oil. So let's put some coconut oil in there, just enough to saute the onions. Sometimes it helps to heat the spoon up a bit. You buy coconut oil in Asia, you always see it melted in the pot. You get it in Britain, it's like waxy because of the difference in temperature, obviously. So let's just make sure that coconut oil is melted. We have probably about 4 tablespoons of coconut oil there. You can use whatever oil you want. So let's add our onions. And we want to fry those down till they really soften and start to brown on a medium heat for about, I don't like to time anything, I'll do it by eye, but probably about 12 minutes at least. And what I did with the onion, what I did with the ginger and garlic, I just made some paste there with a little bit of oil in a blender. Okay, so it's nice and saved me cutting all that up fine, so it'll really disperse out evenly with the dish, give a great overtone of ginger and garlic as well. Okay, we'll come back to that when those onions have sweated down. So those onions have been sweating down for at least 10 minutes now. It's not a very appetizing word to use, but they're very sloppy. That's just how I want them. Really turning into mush. What I'm going to do now is add the garlic and ginger paste. Give that a good stir. And I'm going to continue to sweat that down now for 5 to 10 minutes. You'll see the desired consistency when we come back to that in a moment. So those onions, garlic and ginger with the coconut oil have been bubbling down nicely now. It's drastically reduced in size. It's almost creaming. It's really cool with that coconut oil. And that's just how I want it. It's starting to catch at the bottom. So what we'll do now, we're going to add our amazing marinated pieces to this, and the dish is going to transform. Okay, so here we are, looking great. Let's add all that, and I did end up using all the sauce, which is fine. Don't want to waste any. This is amazing. So let's give that a good stir. So remember, when we made the paste with all those spices, they haven't been cooked. So what we're going to do is make sure, first of all, it's well stirred around, well combined, and we're going to simmer this off now to make sure all those spices are cooked. Everything's really combined nicely. It smells amazing. And I'm going to turn that on to a medium heat, and we're going to leave it until it's fully heated up, and we'll come back to that shortly. So that's heating up rather nicely, as you can see. Ooh, pretty. I can taste the spices in the steam. We have some separation, some bubbling, but it's not catching the bottom of the pan, so it's at the right temperature. I'm not stirring it all the time, and just let all that infuse, bubbling away nicely. I'm going to leave that bubble away now for another 5-7 minutes, and we'll come back to that shortly. So that's almost ready to serve now. Looks amazing, smells amazing, tastes amazing. Very, very welcome change to the British Indian restaurant style vindaloo. And yeah, it's really exciting because I think authentic real Indian food is much higher quality and artful than British restaurant takeaway style. This is a really great recipe. Not to discredit my other vindaloo recipe, because that's how people want it in the UK. You can search for that recipe on my YouTube channel. But really awesome, really welcome change. So let's enough of the talking, and let's get it served up. So there it is, a good variety of textures in there, packed with flavour. Looking good, can't wait to get tucked into this. And let's finish off with the garnish of ginger. Great, so thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video as much as I have making it, and feel free to share, comment, like, subscribe to my channel for a lot more videos to come. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.